Hey guys, it's astrolo.tea.
I'm Gabriella.
And I'm Snow, and we are astrological and spiritual life coaches.
Here to give you the tea straight from the motherfucking cosmos. And if you want to be able to find us, you can find us at www.astrolo.tea.
As well as you can find us on our Instagram at astrolo.tea.
Exactly. So guys, we are here today to talk about the 2021 Pluto Retrograde.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
The infamous Pluto Retrograde. I know a lot of people got their eyes up wondering what is going on with this Pluto Retrograde. How is it going to affect me? What does that even mean? What is Pluto Retrograde? Pluto in Capricorn?
What does that even mean? And if you think about Pluto is ruled by Hades, the god of the underworld. And that's why this is a dark theme that we got going on. That's why I went the dramatic dun dun dun. Because
yes.
This is some dark stuff that we are about to uncover.
Yes.
So if you're wondering what is a retrograde, what does it mean for Pluto to be in retrograde, and what does this even mean for me? Like, how is this going to affect me personally? Don't worry, girl. We're about to break that down for you right now.
Yes, we got you guys. We're really gonna make it through this retrograde together. And astrolo.tea, we're here to guide you. We're here to guide you.
Exactly. But first of all, we just want to give a big thank you to you guys. Those of you who reached out to us after our first podcast launch.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much.
That reached out and just talked told us that you listened to the podcast yourself and just gave us feedback. Like, we super appreciate that, and that means so freaking much to us.
It truly does. And like we said before, like, this is something we've wanted to do for a while, so to gain such positive feedback, like, just genuinely feels like so uplifting and so nice, and just confirmation that we're doing what it is that we need to be doing.
I agree.
So thank you guys so much for all of you who felt called to reach out to us about that.
Oh my gosh,
you don't know how much it made our day.
We love you guys so much. But yeah, so this is a platform where we all grab our coffee, grab our tea, sip together as we bring you guys even more hot piping tea.
Yes.
So
get comfortable, get cozy, grab your tea.
Grab your drink, whatever that might be. So today I am drinking the Sleepy Time tea. And yes, it's only, 5:30?
Ma'am, it is 5 p.m.
But I could drink this tea at any time of the day because I don't know if you guys have... Oh, okay. This brand is called Celestial Seasonings. It's the tea brand.
Celestial Seasoning.
Yeah, it's the tea brand that has the teddy bears on the packaging.
That's cute. I like the name them, right? Celestial. Yeah, I think I've seen it in the
Yeah,
cupboard.
you can literally buy it at Walmart, grocery store, any type of grocery store for the most part. And I don't know why, but their Sleepy Time tea just hits. I could drink it again, at any time of the day. I'm addicted. And usually I'm on the caffeine wave. Usually I'm drinking coffee, but today was a tea mood, so I gravitated towards the Sleepy Time one.
We love to hear it.
What are you drinking, Snow?
Y'all go roll your eyes at me. I'm drinking the same tea from the last episode, but you know what? I may be drinking this
Miss Mango Fiend.
Yeah, it is the mango green tea by True Organics, but I just had to.
This girl is obsessed with mango, guys. Every time we go to bubble tea.
Are we really unpacking this?
Yes,
right now?
every time we go to bubble tea, this girl will always, without fail, order a mango slush. And the mango slush hits, don't get me wrong, but every time.
Because it hits every time, okay?
Winter, fall, summer, spring, snow says, she's like, mango slush it is.
Yes, I am a Scorpio Leo combo, okay? So I am all fixed, so I like what I like. If it's broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. I can't
if
blame
it ain't
you,
broke,
though.
don't
The
fix
same
it.
way.
So.
I'm stuck with my salted caramel, and I usually get that most of the time, so I can't say anything.
Yes,
but
next time I will step into new horizons.
We gotta open our tea caliber.
Yeah, we gotta start investing in some more wide range of tea.
Oh, actually, I'm surprised you didn't have an iced chai today.
Oh, I could have done that.
Yeah, that would.
Oh no, because we used all the milk for the pancakes.
You're right.
Yeah, Gabriella made some fire pancakes this morning, guys. We're kind of getting off topic now, but
anyway, again, rambling.
But
so back to the topic. So let's start off. Okay, so let's go back to the time frame here. So Pluto went into retrograde on April 27th, and it will be in retrograde until October 6th.
That is a long
whole
time.
months. It's going to be in retrograde, right?
Yes.
So first of all, let's start off with, what is a retrograde mean?
What does that even mean?
What are you talking about? I've never even heard that name before. What? So the word retrograde actually originates from the Latin word retrogradus, which
Latin. Gabby said retrogradus. Retrogradus.
I don't know how you say it. I don't know if it's retrogradus or
do it first one more time and roll the R.
Retrogradus. That's you. That's all you, girl. Anyway, so in Latin, that means backward step, which makes a lot of sense because a retrograde is an optical illusion that a planet is moving backwards. However, the planets aren't actually moving backwards. Our planets don't, like, their orbits don't go backwards, right? It's basically just when the orbit of a planet aligns with our orbit in just the right way where it looks like the planet is moving backwards until it goes direct again.
Okay.
So the best example I can give you guys, I found this article by Christopher Crockett on Earth Sky. If you guys want to search that up, he had a really amazing article on retrogrades. But the example that he gave is, so when we're in a moving vehicle, right, and the moving vehicle beside us, in the lane beside us, appears to be moving backwards with the right timing and the right speed, right? So say you're on the highway, you're driving your car, and then all of a sudden you're going fast and the car beside you kind of slows down. So for a split second, it literally looks like that car is moving like backwards. And then you look in your rear view mirror and then you're like, oh no, like they're still going forwards. Like, no, that was just a trick of an eye.
It's crazy because I've seen this so many times, and I've always I remember seeing this as a kid and like tripping out and being like, what is going on? Why is that car breaking down? Why is it moving backwards like that? I am scared.
That's so funny. Literally?
Yeah. Like I was genuinely like, what is going on?
That's so funny. So I'm sure most of us have experienced this because whether you drive or you don't drive, most of us have been in moving vehicles and may have experienced this at some point in our lives. Right. So yeah, that's a really good way to put it into perspective for us.
Yes.
Right. So all of our planets go into retrograde, like Pluto's in retrograde now, but sometimes like Mercury will go through retrograde or whatever. All the planets will go through retrograde, but their pattern cycles are different, right? So for example, Pluto goes into retrograde, and this retrograde is lasting 5 to 6 months. In this case, in this 2021, it's lasting 5 months, right? Whereas say Mercury goes into retrograde, but that only lasts about 3 weeks.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So as we can tell, Pluto isn't the only special planet that's out here going retrograde. All of our planets will go retrograde. But because Pluto is an outer planet and it's further away from the sun, it takes a lot longer to travel around the sun. So planets such as Mercury, as Gabriella just mentioned, is closer to the sun. It's considered an inner planet. So it's going to move around the sun and change signs at a lot faster rate. So that's why those planets will be in retrograde for a shorter period of time.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay. Side note, I noticed in the last podcast that my bitch says exactly way too many times. So I apologize, guys. I'm going to get better at not saying exactly in like every sentence, but I've just like, and you guys didn't even hear the half of it either. Like I literally edited out like half of the exactlies that I said. That's how bad it was. So I'm going to work hard to not say that like every freaking sentence. I think I just realized that that's like my way of affirming.
Yeah.
That's like, I just have a habit of always being like, exactly. Like that's just the way I affirm.
That's like
something.
Me too. Like I'll throw in like a yes, like a like a yeah. Like I don't know. We're just those kind of people who just like confirming as people are talking. Like, you know, showing that we're keeping up with what the person's saying. You know?
And that in my way is always being like, exactly. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. If I hear you say exactly one more freaking time,
I'm literally.
So I'm gonna try. We're gonna see how it goes. It's still a habit, so we're gonna see how that goes. But I'm gonna try to be conscious of that.
Yes. So,
but anyways, going back to the topic.
So if you want to think about it, as we talked about before in our last episode, if you missed it, go back and catch up. All of the planets carry different energies, and with these different energies, they'll exude different traits. So therefore, as Gabriella said, that it's having us have all these cosmic lessons occur to have all these revelations. So each retrograde is going to cause different cosmic lessons and bring up different things to our attention that we need to reassess, redo, reevaluate. All these revelations, all the
literally, there's in retrograde.
Yes. So that's just further confirmation that's about the re's here. So retrogrades are really just a time to, you know, pause, to step on the brakes, to really just take a step back at ourselves and just reflect, because it really pushes you to just pause.
Really good time to reflect, to really look into the inner depths of ourselves and to get rid of all those things that no longer serve us or all of those themes.
Retrogrades are that extra push that we just need to do what it is that we need to do here.
Exactly.
So now that we've talked about what retrogrades are, now let's talk about what is going on here. So we've got Pluto going into retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So let's break down the energy and the personality here of Pluto. So Pluto, if you guys are into Greek mythology, we are Greek mythology nerds. We love we grew up being obsessed with Hercules,
especially making all of these because like I loved Greek mythology in school, but I grew even more of a love for astrology when I started to make those associations when I first got into astrology and making those associations, those connections with Greek mythology, because everything, guys, when you really start to get into the nitty gritty of astrology, you can literally see all of the synchronicities and all the connections.
So many synchronicities.
So many synchronicities and connections to Greek mythology or to science or to psychology. Like it's crazy. I love it so much. But yeah, when I was making those associations, like all the Greek gods being associated with the planet and those representing those personalities that are literally line up with how astrology sees these planets and their personalities. Like,
yes.
It's crazy.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy here. So if you guys are familiar with Greek mythology, Pluto is actually represented by the Greek god Hades. And I know when I just said that, you already got an image of Hades. So that really just starts to give you an
blue
image,
flame on his head.
of like what Pluto is like. So Pluto has that like dark underworld type of energy. It's going to represent our shadow selves, transformation, rebirth, inner power.
Yes.
All
basically,
those. Yeah.
Basically, my favorite way of describing Pluto and the Pluto energies is metamorphosis. Even when I speak of Scorpio energy, because Pluto is ruled by Scorpio in modern astrology, and I always describe the Pluto energy and Scorpio energy as metamorphosis, from turning from that little caterpillar to that beautiful butterfly. But obviously that transformation isn't easy. You can't just snap your fingers and I'm a pretty butterfly. No, it takes hard work. It takes a lot of reflection. It takes a lot of inner healing.
It takes a lot of going into your dark cocoon and being by yourself in isolation and doing the dirty work before you break out of that shell and come out that beautiful butterfly.
Yeah. And before we go on to talk about what Capricorn represents, did anyone else watch Hercules as a kid? Because as soon as we talk about God of the Underworld, we talk about Hades, I instantly get that image in my head from Hercules and of Hades with the blue flame. Like,
I literally overwatched that movie as a kid.
I love that movie so much. And
I wanted to be, I think her name's Merida. Was that? No, that's Brave.
That's Brave, girl.
My bad. Anyways, Hercules' love interest, I'm complete. Megan. I wanted to be her so badly. She was a baddie.
Yes.
She was a baddie. Gosh. Wow. Anyways.
Big dick energy, for
really,
sure.
She did. She had that. She said, I don't need no man.
Yeah, no.
Even if this man can lift up this whole house, I don't need him.
Yeah. Oh my God. Setting the bar.
Wow.
Setting the freaking bar. Yeah, I love it. If you guys have watched that movie, let us know, because that movie was a cultural reset.
Yeah, it really sparked the interest of Greek mythology for me.
100%. Like, yeah, I agree. Okay, so now let's go on to talk about the Capricorn, right? So what does Capricorn energy look like? Because Pluto, again, is going into retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So what does that mean? So Capricorn is an earth sign, right? And Capricorns are like the father, right? They are about work ethic, they're about traditions, discipline, they're ruled by the planet of Saturn, and Saturn is the all about restrictions and limitations.
With Pluto going to retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, like, what does that mean? So what do
these energies mean together?
Yes. So as we said, Pluto is a sign of transformation and rebirth. Capricorn is a sign about that work ethic and structure. So it's really going to be talking about transforming those Capricorn-like qualities here. Yep. Yeah, so this is going to be a great time to reflect and heal from past wounds. So a lot of us I highly recommend doing shadow work.
Oh my gosh.
Because like we talked about here, Pluto is the revealer of truth here. So it's going to be raising things from the past. Those wounds are going to be opening up here, and secrets and past traumas are going to start rising up to the surface.
Our shadow selves, they are going to be brought into the light. So all those things that are in our shadow selves are going to come up to the surface. So we're literally going to be forced to deal with those
and face them.
Yeah, exactly.
But then also at the same time, I feel like from what I've seen that this is going to be like a true time of connecting, because with the Plutonian energy, it's talking about looking at those things, the taboo things that people are scared to face, and facing them. So it's going to be an important time for connecting, whether that's connecting to your higher self, connecting through relationships, connecting with your shadow self, all those sort of things. It's all going to be about building those connections during this time.
Exactly. It's also a really good time for transforming in the areas of traditions, structures, politics, institutions, finances, workforces, because these are all aspects that Capricorns embody, right? These are the strong energies that Capricorns come naturally to. So it's going to be a really big time to transform in those areas.
Yes, transform. Yeah, it's literally going to be a time where everything it is that we know in this moment of time, Pluto is going to rip the carpet out from underneath you and make you have that transformation.
Yeah, it's basically Pluto is basically coming in and flipping everything upside down.
Yeah, it's the instigator here. Like, it's going to change everything. And even Pluto being in Capricorn, Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. And if you think about that, like that's a long time. And think about all the things that were happening then. Like we're over here in Canada, but over in the States, they got their first black president. So changing the traditional things of what everyone saw in politics, which was having white presidents here. So that was a complete change of the structure of politics there.
Crazy.
Even with certain movements such as Black Lives Matter and changes in that, we're going to touch on all the sort of things as well as we get through this.
Again, Capricorns, they really value tradition. So sometimes it's a weakness of theirs that they get so stuck in their traditions and values that they're so rigid in them that they have a hard time being open-minded to new perspectives, new beliefs, new systems, institutions. So again, Pluto literally coming in and flipping everything upside down. So you're getting the flip side of things. It's coming in and tearing those down.
Yes. And completely changing it and reworking it again with the re's here.
Yeah.
This is, again, Pluto was also all about power and gaining power, where it is that we have power. So this is going to be, again, with retrogrades being all about reflecting, this is going to be a great time to analyze and reflect the areas of your life where you feel powerless. Where is it that you feel like you've lost your power, and how do you plan on regaining that power back?
Yeah, Pluto really highlights that inner power because if you think about it, if you go through that transformation and you become that beautiful butterfly, the power is all yours.
Yep.
Like, you're looking at all the caterpillars, they're what's the word?
Out here crawling around.
Crawling? What do you?
I don't know.
Called?
They're like inching across. I don't know what these guys be doing.
Whatever they doing, but whatever caterpillars do to move, they be crawling or whatever. You just see them down there. They don't have legs. They're just crawling around.
Yes.
And they're helpless. You're up here. You have wings.
Yes.
You can fly wherever you.
You literally have this new power. What are you doing with these wings now?
Like, you're renewed. You're just this whole other person, this ascended person.
Yes.
Right?
Literally ascending.
Exactly. And that is where you can gain your inner power if you do that transformation.
Yes. So what are you going to do with that?
Exactly. So I think we've broken down. So what is retrograde?
Yes.
We've broken down what Pluto represents. We've broken down what Capricorn represents. And then we kind of
talked about Pluto and Capricorn and kind of like what these themes are going to like touch on.
Exactly. So now let's get into how is this going to affect you? How is this going to affect me personally? Like, what does this mean for me? Like,
what do I have to look out for? Like, let's make this personal.
So you're going to want to look at your personal placements, right? So those are the inner planets. So our sun, our moon, our Mercury, our Venus, our Mars, and our rising sign. You're going to want to look at the degrees of these, which you can see on your birth chart. So you want to check to see if you have a personal planet that falls within 5 degrees of where Pluto stations retrograde and direct, right? So Pluto stations retrograde at 24 degrees, but when Pluto stations direct, it orbits at 26 degrees, right? That might sound confusing, like what does that mean? But originally when Pluto is orbiting in a direct manner, it is going to be at 26 degrees. But it is when it's going through a retrograde, it is going to be orbiting at 24 degrees. And that is why we're getting that optical illusion here, right?
Yes.
You're going to want to look for the placements that fall 5 degrees within
those two.
Exactly.
Within that window.
So
there.
say you have like your moon, it's at 25 degrees or it's at 24 degrees or 26 degrees, like, you know, anywhere within that realm, that's when you're going to want to really look at these placements because they're going to have a more heavier effect, right? You're also going to want to look for what house Capricorn is in because, again, that Capricorn energy. So what house does it lie in? Again, you can find this in your birth chart. You want to look for what house Pluto is in. Right? And then you also want to look to see if you have any Capricorn within your personal placements. So you have a Capricorn sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, or rising sign, that it is going to affect you more than it would affect those who don't have Capricorn in their personal placements.
Yes. Okay. So, as Gabriella mentioned, you're going to want to look into what house Capricorn is in and what house Pluto is in. So, like, what does that mean? Like, what are houses?
Like, why do you need to look at your houses?
Yeah. Like, why is that important here? So, houses are essentially when your houses can only be found by completing your birth chart. All this information we're talking about.
You need your birth time to know, to have the accuracy.
Yes.
You need the birth time.
You need not only your birth time, your exact birth time. Yes. Because your houses will switch every 4 minutes. So, you're going to need to make sure that you complete your birth birth chart, and you have that exact birth time here. So houses can be found from viewing your birth chart, and they are essentially like it looks like a clock when you look at your houses, and they are essentially the different sectors within our lives, and they highlight our different personal experiences and our experiences throughout this world as well. So with things such as transits here, such as this transit with Pluto retrograde, it's going to be really important to look at your houses, because it's going to highlight the energies and the themes and where you need to focus your energies during this Pluto retrograde.
So think of it this way, right? Think of the planets as the what. So what type of energy is being expressed? Because I remember, like we said, the planets represent a different personality, right? So it's like, okay, what type of energy is being expressed? Then you have the zodiac signs, and they represent the how. So how the energy is being expressed. And then lastly, you have the houses, which represent where the energy is being expressed and what areas of our life it's playing out.
Yes.
So think of it like that. So the what, how, and the where.
Knowing what houses Pluto and Capricorn are retrograding through will help you know where this energy is being exerted.
Exactly, and how it's affecting you personally, not as a collective. Because if we're just looking at it as a collective, then it's not getting a bigger picture of how it's affecting you personally. Because this is affecting everyone differently and on a personal level, because all of our birth charts are different, right? All of our houses are set up differently. So, and it makes me really sad, because even doing research or even seeing like posts on the internet, I find that a lot of people will say, how is this Pluto retrograde going to affect you? And they base it off the sun sign. And it's like, okay, Aries, this Pluto retrograde is going to look like this for you. And that's just not good representation of how this is going to affect you.
Here is the astrolo.tea, real tea, guys. Whenever you're looking at horoscopes, do not look at your sun sign. Please do not look at your sun sign. Look at your rising sign, because your rising sign is where all transits are going to occur through. Your rising sign literally sets up your entire birth chart. So this is a place to look. Don't be looking at your sun sign, because your sun sign isn't going to retrograde. Like we talked about, suns don't go through retrograde. They don't have those the luminaries don't go through retrogrades here. So you're going to want to look at your rising sign when you're looking at horoscopes. And in this case, with looking into this retrograde, you're going to want to look at Pluto and Capricorn within your birth chart.
Exactly. And as much as, like, don't get us wrong, like, your sun is still very, very important. But when you're looking at retrogrades, that's not where you're going to want to look. And that's the thing that I see people going wrong in the most areas, is that they just look at their sun sign like, oh, how is this going to affect me as a Taurus, or how is this going to affect me as a Gemini? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you're not going to look there,
because even with horoscopes, when people try to look into horoscopes as well, like your sun sign talks about who you're striving to become, versus your rising sign talks about how you navigate through this world. So that's why you want to look at your rising sign as opposed to looking to your sun sign, because like you're not that person yet.
And like I said, the zodiac signs is how the energy is being expressed, but you're not looking at where the energy is being expressed, because that's where the houses come in. They show you where the energy is being expressed and playing out. So you want to look at, just really want to look at your houses. This will really give you a bigger picture of what's going on within you personally. All right. Well, so with all of that tea out of the way, let's break down each of the houses. So again, pull out your birth charts right now, because I'm about to give you the tea.
Yes.
Look for where Capricorn, what house it's in, and look for what house Pluto is in.
Yes, we're about to really break this down for you guys and prep you up for this retrograde, because you're not alone. Astrology, we got you. So buckle up. Like Gabriella said, pull out your birth charts and let's walk through this.
Let's look at. I know that I touched on how a lot of the articles or posts that we've been seeing online are just referencing your sun sign, right? So it might be like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I've been doing that. Like, where do I go to look at the houses and the effects? So one reputable person that we really love watching and we literally look up to, like, as a mentor, is Soulful Revolutions. She is amazing. She's so, like, intuitive and wise. She has so much wisdom.
She just, like, is so chill and just gives you like real life examples and just like is super relatable. So you guys should definitely go check her out.
So we literally look up to her like as a mentor sometimes when we need that extra guidance, because again, sometimes the internet lacks the
reputable resources.
Exactly. And that's an issue that's why we do what we do, and why we have the community that we have, is because we want to make sure that you guys have these reputable resources that are accurate and that you're getting the right information.
Exactly.
Right? So with that being said, let's start with the first house.
Yes.
So if you have Capricorn or Pluto in your first house, you're going to want to look out for this.
This one's for you. So let's talk about the first house here. So the first house here is actually ruled by the sign of Aries, which is a fire sign. And this house is going to talk all about self, your identity, your sense of self. This is also the house that rules your rising sign as well. So that really gives you an idea of what the energies are like within this house.
So if you have your Pluto or Capricorn in this house, again, Pluto coming in and flipping the switch, it's turning everything upside down. So the themes that you want to look at is these questions of what part of yourself do you seek change? Do you have boundaries? Do you feel secure in your identity? Do I let the opinions of others render me powerless?
Yes, because like we talked about, Pluto is all about asking yourself those questions. It's all about that reflection. It's all about where you gain your power. So it's really going to challenge you to look at your relationship with yourself and challenging your relationship with yourself. It's all about your identity. Again, your first house also talks about your physical appearances as well. So you might find yourself feeling a random need to change the way that everybody looks at you. Maybe you've always felt like you didn't identify with the labels that have been put on you, and you feel the need to suddenly change everything, change your hair, or relook at how you present yourself into society.
Yep. Or looking at the boundaries that you set in place. Like, are you someone that doesn't have boundaries and allows other people to walk all over you? Or do you someone that has strong boundaries, like reassessing if those boundaries are set into place?
So those are definitely things you're going to keep a look at and kind of keep in the back of your head if you've got these transits going through your first house.
So let's move on to the second house. So the second house is ruled by Taurus, which is an earth sign. So when we get to the houses of earth signs, right? Capricorn being an earth sign. But when someone has Capricorn or another earth sign in the house that's ruled by an earth sign, it's going to feel a lot more comfortable. It's going to be very like, oh, I got this. This is easy, right?
These are energies that they're familiar with.
Yeah, because earth signs share qualities with other earth signs. So that would be Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. Those are the earth signs. So when you have Capricorn in the house of Taurus, or Capricorn in the house of Virgo, or Capricorn in the house of Capricorn, this is just going to be very familiar and very comfortable. So it comes with ease. It's a favorable placement to have, right?
If you have it in the second house, you've been blessed a lot.
Exactly. But you might have it easy on a regular day, but Pluto's coming in to flip the switch. So because it is naturally easy, it might be a little more difficult in these areas. So these houses that are ruled by earth signs are going to be a little more difficult, right? So
Pluto's going to come up here and flip everything upside down. Like, they're really about to put you guys to work here.
So again, the second house is ruled by Taurus, which is an earth sign. So this is all about values, possessions, money, finances, all of those, right? So if you have Capricorn in the second house, usually you've mastered this. You're really good with finances, or you're really good with your possessions, your materialistic needs or wants.
You might have even been somebody who grew up with money or had an inheritance that was handed to them. So finances and possessions, those were things that you always navigated with ease, or you were smart with your money.
Exactly. But again, Pluto's coming in to flip the switch.
Yep, turn everything upside down.
So you might feel that you've lost your power with money. So there are going to be themes of, what do you find valuable? What are your personal beliefs aside from your family's beliefs? How is your current relationship with money? How do you look at money?
Yes, because as we talked about, the second house here is going to really talk about values, and not just values in a material sense, but also like your own values, your moral compass. Is your belief system built on the opinions of other people's that has been brought upon you? Like Gabriela said, are your beliefs separate from your family's beliefs? Are you able to create those beliefs on your own? You're really going to be asking yourself those sort of questions.
Or
here.
do you look at people that are rich, people that have a lot of money? Are you envious? Or do you think that's unattainable? What is your relationship with money? Like, are you someone that thinks, oh, like, I can't do that. Like, I can't apply myself to get that type of money. Like, money doesn't come to me easily, right? Like, you really have to look at your relationship with money, and if you have one that is healthy or one that is unhealthy, because if you're speaking out and you have a negative view on money, then that is how money is going to come into your life in a negative way.
That's all manifestation.
Exactly.
Careful with your words.
So now let's move on to the third house, which is ruled by Gemini, an air sign. So this is all about communication and getting our ideas across and expressing ourselves.
So you're going to find yourself asking questions like, are you able to voice your thoughts and opinions? Because again, it's all about communication. Do you feel like you're comfortable voicing your opinions and thoughts? Are you able to stand up for yourself and voice those opinions and thoughts? And how are those thoughts received by other people when you do voice them?
Yes. So are you someone that when you communicate and try to speak out your thoughts and ideas, or to speak out your boundaries, for example, is it received by others in a way that they're not actually really taking in what you're hearing? They're not listening, or are they are kind of put off by what you're saying, where it's a little too much, right? There's the different spectrums of maybe you're not asserting yourself enough,
yes,
or maybe you're asserting yourself a little too much, right? You need to find a middle ground there.
Yes. And also, this house also talks about our relationships with our siblings. So this might be something that you might be reassessing as well. Whether that's actually a blood sibling or a sibling-like figure, it's also going to be really highlighted for you during this period of time.
All right, so now let's move on to the 4th house. The 4th house is ruled by Cancer, which is a water sign. So this will highlight our home and family life.
Yes. So you're really going to start reflecting those home dynamics that you had. You're going to be asking yourself, how was your family dynamic that you grew up in? How have family traditions and values shaped you? Do you feel like you're stuck in generational trauma? I know that a lot of people grow up with a certain family dynamic that they're used to viewing, and it ends up skewing their ideas on how dynamic should be set up. So you might find yourself looking at your dynamics and reassessing them and being like, I've always looked at my father being the breadwinner and my mom was the one who stayed back and she ended up doing all the cooking and cleaning. And now maybe you as a woman might feel like you have that limiting belief that you might not be able to enter the workforce and go be an affluent woman that you want to be.
A really good cook who stays home and takes care of the children.
Yeah.
Right. And I even know that Soulful Revolutions, she even talked about in the 4th house, it's going to really highlight leadership. Right. So do we feel that we have a leadership role in our family, or do we feel that our leadership role is threatened for whatever reason, however your family dynamic is working? So those are all going to come to the surface with Pluto being retrograde here.
Yes. And again, with Pluto being all about power as well, like what kind of power does your family have over you? Do they stop you from doing certain things that you wish to do? Do their opinions skew you from living your best life? You're really going to reflect on those things. The 4th house is Cancer, so it's really about your relationship with your mother as well. You might find yourself reassessing your relationship with your mom, maybe working on it and rebuilding that. Again, all about the reads here.
Exactly. So now moving on to the 5th house. The 5th house is ruled by Leo, which is a fire sign. So this is highlighting creativity, bearing children, all about like sex and passion, all those fun things. Okay, so this one's an interesting one, guys, because with people that have the Capricorn in the 5th house, this is a difficult position to have, because the 5th house just being all about children and creativity and that inner child, and with that being paired with Capricorn, and Capricorn being about the work life and being the father and being this mature person that, you know, has it all together, that's literally the opposite spectrum, right? And Capricorns, they being an earth sign, like their main focus is not connecting with that inner child.
Yes.
So having Capricorn in your 5th house is difficult to have. You might be someone that grew up at a very young age because you had, for whatever reason, you had to, right? But then Pluto again is coming in to flip the switch on you. So it's actually turning from this difficult position to a more of an ease position, because it's coming in, it's doing the opposite. So it's just going to highlight what your relationship is with your inner child. This might be a really good time for you to connect with that inner child.
Yes.
Walk away from having to be that mature person that does it all for everybody and that has to be the mature one, the boss, you know, retire for this next 5 months, connect with that inner child, really heal that inner child, right?
Yes, this is going to be like I said, this is all about your inner child. So you're really going to be reflecting on your inner child and getting back in touch with that. As we talked about, this time is going to be all about connecting. So you're really going to be connecting with your inner child as well. Doing those things that used to really fuel you as a kid and getting back into those things, getting back into those old hobbies, maybe watching old shows again, asking yourself how you express yourself creatively, getting back into your creativity, just feeling like a kid again, you know, taking off that edge of feeling the need to be mature and just getting childish and having fun and reflecting on how that makes you feel.
And as much as I said that this might be more of an easy position to have during this Pluto retrograde, don't get me wrong though, like I know that if some people are going to take it differently depending on your birth chart, but some people might really get into the depths and reflect as to why they never connected with their inner child, and that can be something hard to face. Like, why did I never give my inner child that reassurance or that validation that it needed, right? That fun that it needed.
Yes.
And so that might be something
you
might uncover.
Even looking into how your inner child was blocked in the first place, like where were that spirit killed? Where was that happiness and that joy for life sucked out of you?
Exactly.
Looking at those things, and those can be difficult things to face as well. So now we're going to move on to the 6th house. The 6th house is ruled by the sign of Virgo, which is an earth sign. So as Gabrielle touched on, our earth signs,
You're comfortable here. So, but Pluto's coming in saying, "Oop, just kidding, you're not comfortable anymore.
Turn
Sorry."
it upside down. So the 6th house talks all about health and well-being. It's the house that talks all about services as well. So you're gonna find yourself asking questions like, how is my relationship with my body? How's my relationship with my diet? How is my daily routine?
Exactly. And this is again going to be a little more difficult because again, you were comfortable, but now you're really, really not comfortable.
Yes.
So it's going to highlight your routine. Are the things that you're doing every single day serving you purpose, serving you meaning? Are they living up to your end goal within this lifetime?
Do you really feel like you're living, like what you're doing every single day, as Gabrielle said, is reaching up to what it is that you want to fulfill? And again, it's also talking about services. This is a house that really talks about jobs in terms of providing a service as well. Are you working at a job that fulfills you? Are you doing that 9 to 5 every single day and you're just like, am I really living? Like, this is my routine, waking up every single. You might find yourself reflecting on that, or
assessing if you have a good relationship with food. How does your nutrition life look like? Are you feeding your body the food that it needs to be nourished? And you know what I mean, guys? Like, our gut health is literally linked to our mental health. Like, guys, serotonin, which is our happy hormone, is literally produced in our gut.
I was mind blown when I found that out. Gabrielle has been preaching to me about gut health, especially me having all these Virgo placements. She's like, girl, get your gut health in check.
Virgos rule the digestive system. So that can be a strength, but it can also be a weakness. So I find that a lot of heavy Virgo placements have a difficult relationship with nutrition, with their gut health, with food, right? So it's really important to have our gut health in check in order for us to have good mental health. So you might be reevaluating that, like reevaluating your relationship with food and nutrition, and like I mentioned before,
and transforming those things as well. You might even be thinking spiritually as well. I know a lot of people will strategically pick the food that they put in their body, because the food that you put in your body emits your energy that you're out here producing as well. And thinking about looking into food that's ethically sourced as well, that might be things that you might be looking into as well.
All these things that might come up in the 6th house. So now moving on to the 7th house. This is ruled by Libra, which is an air sign, and this is all about partnership, so marriage, all of those themes,
unions, all those sort of things. So you're going to find yourself really reflecting on the partnerships in your life. And a big question that you should be asking yourself is, do you depend on yourself or do you depend on others?
Exactly. So depending on what your answer is to this. So say you're like, okay, I depend on myself. I'm pretty good on myself. Pluto's going to come in, flip the switch. Now all of a sudden you're depending on others for whatever reason, because this is a cosmic lesson that you need to learn.
Because again, right? Pluto is all about power. So suddenly now the power roles are switching here.
Yes. So, or you're saying, I'm someone that usually depends on others. I have a hard time with that. Flip the switch. Now you're all of a sudden depending on yourself. You're able to do those tasks that you were no longer maybe before were able to complete on your own, right? So it's that power switch.
And really analyzing and reflecting on what it is that you do with that power as well. Now that you're the person that's in power, making sure that you remember what it felt like to be the other person that was dependent and didn't have that power. Be a good person with that power as well.
See both sides. Because again, Libra, this is ruled by Libras. Libras rule the scales. So really seeing both sides to the picture.
Yes.
And appreciating both sides.
Yes, and creating balance as well, and that harmony. You want to be having those healthy dynamics and see what it is that you can do to create healthy dynamics in your partnership.
Balance is everything, guys.
Very key.
Balance is everything. So now we're going to move on to the 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio, which is a water sign. And this is all about death and rebirth.
Wow, if you've got this going on in the 8th house, good for you, because this is also a very interesting one here.
Yes.
Scorpios are not shy of death and rebirth. This is something that's familiar to them. Scorpios literally rule Pluto. So if you've got this transit going on through your 8th house, like this is going to be an energy that you're very familiar with.
Yes, again, you're comfortable here. You're like, I've mastered this, girl.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. We go through rebirth every damn week.
Exactly. You're out here looking at everybody. Everyone's sweating bullets. Like, oh my gosh, Pluto's going into retrograde, and y'all like,
I don't want to deal with this.
Exactly. And you're like, it's just another day in the office.
You're like, guys, this is my life. Like, what are you talking about?
I got this. But again, just because this is something that you're familiar with doesn't mean that there's nothing here for you to reflect, because there is always a lesson, and the cosmos will provide the lessons here. So you're going to find yourself reflecting on, how do you handle transformation and change in the past? You've done all these rebirths in the past. So how is it that you've handled them?
Yeah, just because you go as Scorpio placements, just because you are constantly going through rebirth doesn't mean you're doing it in a healthy manner, right? So are you avoiding this transformation? Are you handling as headstrong?
Yes.
Are you facing it head first? Like, how are you diving into this transformation?
Yes. What are those defense mechanisms that you put up when you're going through those as well? Because I know that the 8th house can be kind of like a dark energy as well. So when you're going through those transformations and things get uncomfortable, where does your mind go? Do you take it to a dark place? Do you have these negative thoughts during these things? These are things that you need to really reflect on, and reflecting and retraining your brain to start having positive, welcoming arms to those transformations and to change.
Yes. Also, me and Snow were talking about the 8th house too, and because it's just an interesting placement to have throughout this Pluto retrograde. And we were also talking about, like, yeah, this might be easier for the people that have Capricorn in the 8th house, because again, this comes naturally to you guys. You've mastered rebirth and transformation.
Exactly, because Capricorns are hard workers. So y'all been working to transform your whole life. Like, you've been working on this. Like,
exactly,
you're the boss of this.
So you also need to watch out and make sure that you're not getting upset that it's maybe this is something that you've always had to go through, that and you look at other people and you're like, hey, well, I have to go through all this transformation all the time. What about all these other people that, you know, that don't maybe not have these Scorpio placements, right?
Yeah, like what kind of effect or imprint has that made on you mentally? Do you resent others for the fact that you've constantly had to go through trials and tribulations? How has that shaped you as a person as well? Reflecting on how those constant rebirths have changed you and shaped you.
Yes, and keeping the focus on yourself and not comparing yourself
and your experiences
to other people.
Period.
Right? Exactly. So now let's move on to the 9th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. So the themes here is higher education and philosophies.
Yes. So this is going to really have you reflecting and challenging your thoughts and current beliefs on philosophies and your belief system. So
religion too is a big one too.
Big part of your belief system here. So how is your belief system? Have you allowed yourself to question your belief systems? Perhaps you are a person who grew up in a religious home and you were constantly told strict religious home. And you were told that this is how things are, and when you tried to question certain things, you were told, well, that's how it is.
There was no room for question.
No room.
They said, I rebuke.
No. It is what it is. You take it or leave it. And that left you kind of feeling like with this emptiness. So this time is going to allow you to open yourself up to reflecting, allow yourself to question, allow yourself to explore, allow yourself to seek that higher education and find that within yourself and find that through outside sources.
And we know that's not always easy, guys. Like that was me and Snow. Like we grew up in very strict Christian households, and our practice is looked at as pagan.
Yeah, we're witches here.
Yeah, we are. Oh, that's what we are called now, witches. However, it's not easy. The more that we practice our spiritual practice, the more realizations we have, and the more questions we have.
The more we're transforming our own current belief systems as well.
Yes, the more introspective we are, the more avenues open up to us, and we start all these things that we never really looked into before because we looked at as pagan are now coming up, and we're like, whoa, actually, like this shows me this, and like this is more than what I used to think it was. It's not actually the predisposed idea that I thought it was, because my whole life I was taught witchcraft or pagan, or you can't touch that because that's evil, that's Satan. Do you know what I mean? All those things, right? But now the more we are questioning our belief system and questioning that, the more, and it's hard though, because you grew up your whole life and your identity was within that faith that that was put onto you, right? So to retrain your brain, for me and so to tell ourselves that, okay, you're not being paid, because we are still believers of Christ and we love God wholeheartedly, but to retrain our brain sometimes to even, like, say we're getting into tarot cards, right? Tarot cards was a huge thing that we debated about for a long time.
We were really scared to touch that.
Yes, because that was looked at as like, if you're looking to past, present, future, like, you're condemned, like, no, like, you do not touch that voodoo shit. Like,
only God can tell you the future.
Yes.
Do
and
not
as,
be
as
seeking
much
divination.
As we set boundaries, don't get us wrong. Like, there's certain things that we won't touch because we do believe that certain things, like, we don't need to know, right? But at the end of the day, I don't think we need to not know anything. Like, I think that's very close-minded.
Yes.
And we try to be open-minded here.
Yes. Just the same way as we use astrology as a tool, it's the idea of being open to other tools as well.
So it forced us to have to do our own research, to set down our own ideas, our own belief systems, our own perspectives, right? So that's why I wanted to say, like, I kind of went into a tangent for a while, but it might be difficult to go through it and break down your own belief system to build up a new one. And I'm not saying that you have to, like, change faiths or whatever. Like, no, that's not what we're saying.
Just being open and allowing yourself to, again, the 9th house is ruled by Sagittarius. So it's the explorer, it's the traveler. So allowing yourself to explore and find and build your own belief systems that aren't thrown upon you. You know, find it yourself.
Perfect. All right. So now we're going to move on to the 10th house. So the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn, which is another earth sign. So that represents career, authority, purpose. And again, this is at home here. So the 10th house is ruled by Capricorn. So if you have Capricorn in this house, then it's at home. So you're very, very, very comfortable here, right? If you have something at home, it's favorable to have this position. However, again, Pluto comes in and says, you're not comfortable anymore. So then it's going to be a tough position to have. And it's going to be surrounding themes of, does my career, does my job fulfill me? Does that bring me purpose? Why did I choose the career that I chose to pick? And what's my relationship with authority?
Yes.
Right? These are all tough questions to face sometimes, especially depending on what stage you are in your life. Right? So go back to psychology, right? Erickson's 8 stages of life. You look at the 7th stage, which is generativity versus stagnation. This is literally what this highlights.
Yes.
Like, are you going to be at a point in your life where
you're gonna have that middle age crisis?
Yes.
And you're gonna be like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I've been doing this whole job my entire life just to put food on the table, but does it fulfill me?
Yes. So this is the time to do that reflection. Avoid that. Don't be that person that feels stuck when they're in their midlife crisis and feel that they didn't serve a purpose within our community.
Yeah, experiencing that regret, that remorse, the I wish I did, I wish I like, you don't want to be living in wishes. Make that now. Make that your reality now. It's going to really be challenging you to do those things. And the other thing is, as well as authority, because this house really talks about authority. So you're going to find yourself really reflecting and looking at your relationship with authority and the power dynamics within that. Do you struggle with authority? Do you feel fearful of authority? All of those sort of things are really going to be brought to your attention as well.
All right, so now moving on to the 11th house, which is ruled by Aquarius, an air sign. And this represents groups, friends, humanitarianism, all of those types of aspects.
Yes, so you're really going to find yourself, again, reflecting on those subjects and asking yourself questions like, how are my relationships with my friends? Because again, this house really talks about groups. So how are your relationships with your friends? Are you the friend who is the planner? Are you the friend who's the initiator? Are you the friend who gets everybody to go out to hang out? Are you the friend who's always reaching out, who's putting in all the work? Do you feel underappreciated in that? In those aspects as well, and analyzing your relationships and connections within groups.
So with evaluating what your position is within your friendship group or whatever group that may be, you're going to evaluate the relationships that you have with your friends. Are these relationships that you can see being successful within the future, or are these relationships that no longer serve you purpose, right? So it's are you need to cut some ties within this 5-month period? Do you need to strengthen your relationship with some of your friends?
Yes.
This is definitely going to be highlighted here.
Yes, and it can be tough sometimes, but you have to realize that it's for your higher purpose. That's what Pluto is all about. Having that death and having that rebirth.
Yes.
And again, the 11th house is also going to talk about humanitarianism and social ideals as well. How you give
back to the community.
Yes. Where it is, you might find yourself reflecting and being like, I feel like I'm living, but like, what am I really doing? Like, how do I make my mark in this society? Like, how do I leave and really feel like I left an imprint on the world? You're going to find yourself thinking about that and thinking about what it is that you can contribute to society, how you fit in society.
How do you feel you fit into society? Yeah, exactly.
And even with that, with how you fit into society as well, like where do you fit on social ideals and social issues as well? Are you a bystander? Are there things that you feel like you need to use your voice?
Yes. For example, say for example with the Black Lives Matter, right? Were you somebody that maybe posted about the Blackout Tuesday but really didn't understand what this meant for society and what you were actually posting for? Maybe you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, and you have all these realizations during this next 5-month period and you're like, shit, I need to research, I need to educate myself so I can contribute to society and actually make a difference, not just post to post to say that I have contributed, but actually contribute, actually know what you're talking about, actually know what's going on, so that you can stand up, take a rise in the way that we all need to have a voice. And that's just one example of, there's always things going on in society that we need to come together as a community for. So this will really be highlighted if you have Capricorn in the 11th house.
Yes, so good. Now we're going to talk about, last but certainly not least, the 12th house. 12th house. This is a house that is ruled by Pisces, which is a water sign. So this house talks all about spirituality and the Pisces-like energy, because again, Pisces are ruled by the planet of Neptune, so escapism and things of that nature as well. So you're going to find yourself reflecting on those subjects.
So you might be asking yourself, how is my relationship with work? Because again, this is it with Capricorn. So if you have Capricorn in the 12th house, you might be someone that escapes by working. You might just be like, because again, Capricorn's being about that work ethic and making the money, making the bank. So you might be someone, again, that's like, I'm just going to avoid that by putting my head into work, and you become a workaholic.
Yes.
Right? So it's going to really question your relationship with your work. Are you working to work, or are you working to escape? What is your relationship with substances? Because again, this is escapism. Neptune really highlights substance abuses as well. So how's your relationship with substances? Are you abusing substances, or are you using them healthily? How do you view the systematic systems that exist within today's society?
Yes, because again, 12th house also talks about institutions, all the institutions that we have built within the world, whether that's political institutions or medical institutions such as hospitals and things like that as well. So how do you view these systems? Do you feel hindered by these systems? Do you feel, you might find yourself reflecting and feeling like you need to actually separate yourself from these systems. Maybe you have this revelation where you feel like you want to step away from the work world, and now suddenly you want to become your own boss and work independently. Because again, those Capricorn like things about escaping and having escapism in your work, you're putting all your energy into work that it's an escape, and now you're getting this revelation that you want to do something on your own independently.
So that is the 12 houses. We broke down what all these 12 houses mean and what it's going to mean for you personally within this Pluto retrograde. Now that you have everything broken down, make sure that you save this or send it to a friend so that they can find where Capricorn and Pluto is within their birth chart.
Yes.
And see how this Pluto retrograde is going to affect them. So make sure that you send this to a friend or family member so that they can know what the overall theme is going to be for them, what it's going to look like with them for the next 5 months.
Because like Gabrielle said, 5 months, you really want to be suited up and prepped for this. So that way you're not shocked by when these changes start to happen. Because I know certain revelations and when these thoughts happen, it can be very scary and be like, where did this come from? So having that positive confirmation on where it is that you can draw your attention to really helps.
And like, as you can tell too, like Pluto is really just asking those how questions. It's really just reflecting and going deep. It's really just saying, okay, yeah, this house is about the sense of self. how is your relationship with yourself? Like, it's really just going to be like asking you those how, and it's like, whoa, it's really just going to make you reflect and question. That's all that Pluto is doing, is really just diving deep.
If you don't have a journal right now, get a journal. You need a journal for the next 5 months. That way you can keep track of your progress and all these revelations that you're having, so you can really start to connect those dots and make it way easier on yourself. Cause
it's so funny because everyone talks, journal. And I would always hear that too. Like growing up, I always romanticized journaling. Like I'd be like, and I would always like buy cute journals, and I always tell myself that I was going to journal. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fill up my journal. I would write like one journal entry the day that I bought it, and then I would never pick it up again. Maybe someone resonates with this too, but like for the longest time, I could not pick up a journal. I never felt called to. But then as soon as I started my spiritual journey, like I've never felt so called to journal. Journaling is such a good
grounding technique, and it's also so therapeutic at the same time. I find.
It's a very good grounding technique for sure. Like it just helps so much. It was just documenting your realizations and even just documenting your growth,
keeping track of your progress.
Exactly. And I feel like for me personally too, that I felt that when I was journaling, I had a lot of things come up to the surface that I didn't even know were going to come up to the surface, because when you're journaling, you're reflecting, right? So all these things you start having like all these realizations as you're writing. You're like, oh my gosh, like I just came to journal about my day, and all of a sudden I'm having these realizations as to why I have this defense mechanism. Like it's crazy. I highly recommend journaling, especially during these next 5 months. So definitely go buy a journal if you don't have one already.
Yes. And if you want to learn more about how this retrograde is going to affect you personally, and you want some real in-depth personal advice, a game plan to suit you up and get you prepared so you're best suited for this retrograde, definitely go to our website, www.astrolo.tea, and book a consultation call with us, and we'd love to do a current life advice reading for you and really suit you up and get you prepared for how to best navigate through this transit.
Yes, we have two options. We have like a 30-minute current life advice, or an hour current life advice, depending on what you are looking for. But yeah, definitely if you feel that you're someone that needs a game plan to see it all set out in front of you, definitely go over to our website and book that right now for sure. We would love to help guide you through these next 5 months.
This was such a fun podcast episode. So fun. Thank you guys for coming. But before we close, we got to do our new thing, this gratitude attitude. We're a little dark, a little deep. Pluto we're very serious. This podcast, very serious. Yeah, we're in educational mode. So let's unwind a little bit.
Let's do some gratitude attitude. Let's lighten up the mood here, because we're taking on these next 5 months headstrong. We got this, guys. We got this. So you want to start us off, Snow?
Okay. Something that I am grateful for. Honestly, throughout doing all of our research and just like speaking on this, I am just grateful for the knowledge that we have. Like I am so grateful that I am prepped for this like Pluto retrograde, because looking through my birth chart as well, and seeing the things that I'm going to be going through throughout the next 5 months, like the fact that I'm ready and not scared, because I know a lot of people get scared for retrogrades. I just feel so blessed to have this knowledge. That's so true,
because even when you go back to like when we first got into astrology, we wouldn't hear about the transits like, oh, Mercury's going into retrograde, and then we wouldn't even know what that meant for us, and we were like, what? And then it would just be like this whole thing, and then all these things would start happening to us, and it would just be like, oh my god, and then we'd be like, oh my gosh, this happened because of Mercury retrograde, but we wouldn't really know what to expect going into it, right? So the fact that we are able to know what to expect going into it is amazing. Not that we know like what revelations we're gonna have, but like knowing the theme of what's going to happen.
Yes, because even to tap onto what Gabrielle said, like our past experiences with Mercury retrograde, we used to like get so mad and our whole mood would be like thrown off, where we would just put all the blame on that. So the fact that we have the knowledge to prepare ourselves for this now is just so amazing and uplifting.
Wow, Snow, that was so good. That was a really good one. I love that.
Thank you.
So today I am grateful for Argonite, because this whole podcast I've been holding it, and I just got this new piece. I just bought her actually like a week ago, I think what it was, and I've been loving her. She's been helping so much, because Argonite, if you don't know, is really good for increasing energy. It helps boost our self-confidence, even our self-worth. It also helps with stress as well, which is really nice, because I am someone that I get stuck in my head sometimes, and I just like have a hard time communicating, and I'll get that imposter syndrome a lot sometimes, which I'm really trying to work on. So Argonite's been really helpful for that, for giving me that sense of worth, like, girl, keep doing what you're doing. Like you're doing good.
You got this.
You got this. Like, stop stressing. So sometimes I'll just hold her in my palm, and I'll be feeling the energy. So I'm really grateful for Argonite, because when I be getting stuck in my head, she's like, girl, just breathe. You're good.
Yes.
So I'm grateful for her and all the crystals. Like, every podcast, me and Snow like to surround ourselves with crystals for that good energy. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we should, on our episodes, like, talk about a crystal that we're currently working with.
Yes,
during the podcast.
We could even do a whole podcast episode on crystals if you guys are interested.
That'd be
in
so
crystal
fun.
healing.
We love crystals.
It's been an amazing tool during our spiritual journey.
Yes,
for
it's
sure.
been so fun.
So we'd love to share that.
Yeah.
So let us know if you guys want that.
Exactly.
DM us on Instagram.
Exactly.
At astrolo.tea.
Oh, look at me saying exactly way too many times. Even though I said it before, I was trying to work on that. I don't know how that went. So
it's okay, Gabriella.
Sorry, guys.
It's only day 3 of Pluto Retrograde. You're still reinventing your exactly.
We'll have to think of some other affirming words.
Yes.
Here.
Anyways, so that concludes this episode of our podcast. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We had so much fun breaking down Pluto Retrograde, and we hope we have you guys prepared and saddled up to take on this transit.
We got this.
You got this. You got this. You got this. If you want to connect with us more, definitely follow us on Instagram at astrolo.tea.
Yes, we have an amazing astro community on there. So if you want to join our community on there, for sure, head over there after this podcast. Or you can head over to our website, like we said, www.astrolo.tea.
Yes.
Get some coaching. If you want to understand how to read your birth chart, it's an amazing tool, guys. It helps you not only understand yourself, but understand others. And with that, you can find spiritual enlightenment and purpose and empowerment, just amazing things. Healing is a big thing too. Like, we really love connecting with our clients and helping them find that healing so they can connect with their higher selves and find that empowerment. So if that's something that you're interested, for sure, go check that out. Or if you just need a reading for some extra clarification, that is there for you to utilize as well.
Exactly. So, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of astrolo.tea. Be sure to follow us on whatever streaming advice that you are streaming us on.
Because you have another podcast episode.
No, you really do not. You do not. So thank you again once so much for listening, and we hope to see you in the next episode,
where we're going to give you the tea straight from the cosmos.
Bye, guys.